For a moment, it seemed as though the drama between Terence Crawford and Gervonta Davis was over, but now Terence has sent a brutal message to Gervonta. Gervonta Davis was so sure of his own abilities that he felt like he only needed 6 rounds to take on Terence Crawford. Gervonta stated, 147? If I tap that chin, you know he's going to sleep. He ain't got a chance. I got round 6. Originally, Terence had been rather open to the idea of staying at 147 to face Gervonta, and he admitted that it was solely for the big money that a fight like that would bring in. Terence stated, he's just talking. You know, he's got the confidence in himself that he believes that he can do that because he's been knocking all these fighters out that he's been in the ring with. You know, so no knock to Tank, but there's definitely levels. You know, if he comes up to 147 and he's thinking he's just gonna knock Terence Crawford out, he's got another thing coming. Yeah, I'll stay at 147 for him because that's a big money fight. It's a big money fight. You know, yeah, but then what? Everybody's gonna say he was too small. Nobody is gonna give me credit. You know, but what type of recognition am I gonna get for, beating up on Tank? A lot of people don't know 135 and 147 is a big jump. You know, that's almost 20 pounds. Well, 12 pounds. You know, so that's a big jump. Terence has definitely given Gervonta plenty of credit for his skills too.
One thing I can say about Tank is he's smart. He can box.
Yes.
And he's explosive. I see that being Shakur's toughest fight because of the power.
Not too long after that, Terence turned around and said that Gervonta hadn't fought enough of the big boys to challenge him just yet. Terence stated, hats off to Tank. He's a great, talented fighter, but he hasn't faced the top elite fighters in his division. We want to see Tank against somebody his size at the elite level. I believe he'll do good, but we haven't seen that yet. David Benavidez originally thought that the idea of this fight was ridiculous, but the more he thinks about it, the more he likes the sound of it.
But he's the best unified 147 pounder because he was definitely on a different level that night.
Who do you want to see him face next?
To be honest, bro, I thought it was crazy back then when people were talking about it, but now that I look at it, I think Crawford and Gervonta Davis would be a good fight, man. Knowing that Gervonta Davis fought at 140 already, I think if he just goes up one more weight class, I think besides me and Canelo, I think the next biggest fight in boxing is Tank and Crawford, and it'd be more likely to happen even before too. So. There's some good fights right there, bro. Honestly, and then also Boots with Terence Crawford. Yeah. That would be a great fight too. So there's a lot of great fights there to make happen. But yeah, it's gonna be a fun time watching Terence Crawford fight against all those fighters.
Thanks.
Gervonta Davis has tried to play off everything like he didn't really mean it, and he referred to himself as the face of boxing in the process. Davis stated, "It's big, but I know I gotta do more work. So I keep my head down a little bit and stay focused and continue to grind. Nah, it was just some talk going on Twitter like back and forth that was joking around. But you know how people are. I'm the face of boxing, so they make a big deal out of it." Shane Mosley thinks that Crawford would be able to beat Gervonta right now, but he also believes that things could go differently if Gervonta takes the time to get used to the weight. Shane stated, if Gervonta Davis goes to 47 now and tries to fight Bud Crawford, I think that Crawford will maybe stop him. If Gervonta Davis takes some time to fill into the weight at 47, it could be a different fight. But I still say Crawford wins. I mean, they say that Gervonta Davis is really big. He walks around pretty big, so he could actually do it. But I mean, Crawford's arms are too long. He's a little bit taller, but he has power. He has his speed. He switch hits. I mean, I don't know. I think that Crawford would have the big edge in that fight. But like I did it. I jumped from lightweight to welterweight to fight Oscar De La Hoya, and I was successful. But the difference with that is, I was actually bigger than Oscar in the Olympics. I was 139 to his 132, so I was really a big fighter anyway. Gervonta Davis is coming from 26 to 30, so it's a little different. During his podcast, Joe Rogan spoke with Terence Crawford about the power that Gervonta brings to the ring.
Tank is one of the most interesting fighters to watch because he's so different. His style is so different. You know, he's so economical. Like, he puts pressure on guys without throwing too many punches, and then starts to figure holes out, and the way he can explode and move in with one shot, my God.
Yeah, he's very explosive. He's very explosive, and, you know, man, he be cracking them dudes. Hey, he be putting them to sleep.
Brian Norman has had the pleasure of sparring with both men, and he gave his opinion on who brings more power. Brian stated, "When I sparred Terence Crawford, I was 20 years old, and he tried to old man me and show me I was a boy. But even when you see him fight, he doesn't necessarily one-shot people. He beats you up, then he kills you. But as far as one-shot power and who got that, I've got to give it to Tank." Sean Porter thinks that Terence Crawford would just be a big bully to Gervonta Davis at that weight, though. Sean stated, "I don't think that Tank would stop Crawford. I think that's a big bully up there at 147. Terence decided to fan the flames with Gervonta for a little while longer, though, and he told him to come up and fight with some of the big boys. Terence stated, "What champ? Who's undisputed at 135 pounds? Devin Haney got all the belts. He's the champ. Nobody else is the champ. Tank's the bigger draw. There's weight classes for a reason. Tell him to come up here with the big boys. I'll welcome him." Calvin Ford tried to say that Gervonta was just messing around, and he mentioned another fighter who he thought would be a better fight for Gervonta. Calvin stated, "He was just playing around. End of story. Tank does that to get an eyebrow raise out of people. It's like when they talk about Inoue. He's weight classes below, but everyone still says something about that fight. Right now, we're just waiting on that contract to come across our desk for who we're fighting next and who we're getting ready for. My thinking is that it'll be Pitbull. With Devin going up and Shakur having plans to fight Lomachenko next year, I think that's the direction we're going." In the end, Terence really felt like Gervonta could do great things at a higher weight, but he really didn't want to entertain a fight with him until he had faced some other heavier fighters. Terence stated, "Hats off to Tank. He's a great, talented fighter, but he hasn't faced the top elite fighters in his division. We want to see Tank against somebody his size at the elite level. I believe he'll do good, but we haven't seen that yet." Roy Jones Jr. really likes the idea of Gervonta moving up to face Terence, though. Roy stated, "I don't see nobody around that's going to beat him unless it's somebody way bigger than him. But if he and Tank fought at about 145, that's a good fight. They both have very high IQs, and Tank is very explosive. That's the one thing Tank got that Errol didn't have. In boxing, an explosive fighter can go a lot of places. I was only able to cover the weight that I was able to cover because I was so explosive. If I wasn't so explosive, I wouldn't have been able to cover that much weight. Explosiveness keeps people in check." Terence Crawford seems to have his own big plans before retiring soon, though. Terence stated, "Another fight for the undisputed, and then I just walk away. 3 times undisputed. That would be dope. Everything that comes my way, I just take it in stride because I feel it was meant for me and I was supposed to be here. So I don't get overexcited and I don't get over happy about it. I just feel like this is something I've been knowing about myself for years. Y'all might be excited, but I'm not excited because I already knew what y'all didn't know. But everything happens for a reason. I'm here now. I'm undisputed. I did what I said I was going to do and my life moved on." Terence has definitely welcomed the opportunity to show Gervonta what it's like at 147. Terence stated, "He said I got a glass chin. Come and touch it." If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and check out some of our other videos on the screen right now.